Hello, students. In last session, we have already discussed what are the cells, what is the history of the cells, how the cells was discovered, how the human being came to know the structure of the cells. In this session, we will discuss regarding number, shape, size of the cells. Firstly, we will discuss the number. Number of the cells. As we know, this entire world, this planet is filled of number of plants and animals. There are diversities in both plant as well as animals. Some are microscopic, some are very huge. Here we should know the size depends upon the number. Depends upon the number, not on the size of the cells. The microorganisms like bacteria, amoeba, we know are unicellular. Unicellular. Unicellular means unicellular. Unicellular means their body are made up of a single cell. Single cell. So they are microscopic. So they are so small. So they are so tiny. Because we know the cells are normally very small, very tiny. We can't see the cells with naked eye. Only with the help of microscope we can see the cells. As these animals, these organisms like bacteria, algae, having a single cell. Single cell. So they are microscopic. So they are very tiny. Opposite to them, the big plants, big animals like elephant, like whale, like we, human beings, have number of cells, million of cells. We human beings have trillion of cells, million of million. So we are big, so we are large, so elephant is huge. Such animals are called as multicellular, multicellular animals. Multi means many, many. And cellular means their body is made up of number of cells, many cells. So they are called multicellular organisms, multicellular animals, multicellular plants. Thus here we are seeing the size of organisms depend upon the number of the cells. How much number a particular organisms are having, accordingly they are having their size. Thus, on the basis of numbers of cells, we can classify the entire organisms into two categories. First, the organisms which are having a single cell are called as unicellulars, and the organisms which are having number of cells are called multicellular organisms. It is here quite clear the multicellular organisms are having huge bodies and complicated and complex body. In next session, later on, we will discuss in detail regarding the organization level, tissue differentiation. Here, now we have to discuss the shape of the cells. Shape. Actually, shape of the cells of all the organisms varies. Shape of the cells varies organism to organisms. Like amoeba, firstly we will discuss the shape of the cells in the case of certain microorganisms. Amoeba. You know, the body of the amoeba is made up of a single cell. That means the entire body of the amoeba is representing a single cell. So, we will consider the amoeba as a single cell. The body of the amoeba is irregular. According to its biological activities, it may change its body with the help of a certain part, organ, that is called pseudopodia. Pseudopodia in plural, but in singular it is called as pseudopodia. Pseudo means false, and podia or podium means leg or foot. False and pod means leg. Just similar to our feet. But it is false. It works just similar to our feet, just like a leg. But it is false. With the help of pseudopodia, the amoeba performs different type of biological activities like locomotion, like ingestion of foods, excretion, etc. Because amoeba has to perform various work and has to move from one place to other place to get the food. So its body, its one cell body is irregular. It may change according to its requirement. Similarly, in the case of human being, WBC is the cell inside our body. WBC means white blood cells. It is also known as leukocytes. The shape of the WBC or leukocytes is just similar to amoeba. Our WBC cell may change its shape. That means the shape of the WBC is irregular. Why its shape is irregular? We should know here. Because WBC serves as a policeman. Whenever a harmful bacteria, harmful microorganisms enter inside our body, WBC move to the site of the wound where the pathogen is present, is ready to harm your body. Instantly the WBC move there and start killing those harmful microorganisms. Just similar to the amoeba. What amoeba is doing? It has to move, has to engulf the food particles. In similar way, the WBC has to move to the site of infection and has to engulf the microorganisms so that infection cannot be spread in your body. So they change their body shape, their structures, just similar to the amoeba, according to the requirement. And due to this reason, the WBC or leukocytes are also known as phagocytes, because they move to the sites and engulf the harmful bacteria, harmful microorganisms. So they are called phagocytes also. Similarly, in multicellular organisms, to perform various type of biological works, the shape and size are different to facilitate the particular biological function. That means the shape of the cells varies according to their function. In other words, we may tell that the shape of the cells is directly related to the function. Whatever function they has to perform, accordingly they have their own shape. We can take an example here. The neurons, the nerve cell of the human being. The nerve cell of the human being is very longest and largest cell, and their shape is just like a wire, very long. Why? What is the reason? Because they gather information and transmit the information from one part to the other part, and thereon to the mind in the form of impulses. So, to perform this work of transmission, their shape is thread-like. They are very long. Now we will discuss size. As just before we have discussed the most of the cells are microscopic. That means they are very tiny. We can't see them with naked eyes. But in certain cases, they are visible. We can see them with naked eyes. Just in the case of ostrich A is the largest cell of this world. Its dimension is 170 mm into 130 mm. Egg of the ostrich is the largest, you remember, largest cell of the world. And now we will discuss which is the smallest. The smallest cell is found in PPLO. That is bacteria. Its full form is pneumonia bacteria. Pneumonia bacteria. Its size varies from 0.1 to 0.1 mu. Or micron. Mu or micron you may take. Micron or micrometer. As you know, the mu is a unit to represent the micro particles or microorganisms. It is 1/1,000,000th of the meter. That means 1 mu is equal to 1 per power minus 6 meter. You can imagine how they are smallest. Now in the case of human being, we will discuss the size of the cells. In our body, the smallest cell are RBC, red blood cells. Their size varies from 1 to 5 or 6 mu. They are a smallest human cell. But in the case of human being, we have also to discuss the largest cell. Just before, when we were discussing the shape of the cells, we have already discussed regarding the neurons, the nerve cells of the human being. They are longest cells of the human body. Their length may be up to 1 meter. Up to 1 meter. You can imagine how they are longest. We have already discussed why they are so long. Why they are like thread or wire? Because they has to transmit the information from one part to other part, ultimately to the brain in form of impulses. Why? The nature has made them so long, like a thread. Now we have completed the number, shape and size of the cells. We have seen the number, shape and size of the cells varies considerably from organisms to organisms. In next session, we will discuss regarding the structure of the cells. Okay. Thank you very much.